Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Interbike for the 2013 edition of the Interbike International Bicycle Expo. I am joined this morning by Sarah Timleck. She's the marketing manager? Director. There's so many titles. Marketing director for Interbike. Welcome to Good Morning Interbike.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I think I should actually welcome you to Interbike. This is your first Interbike show.
It is indeed my first Interbike, and I'm not scared to admit it.
But two wheels are not unfamiliar to you. Tell everybody else why that is.
Two wheels kind of, I guess, runs in my blood, so to speak. I've been a veteran of the motorcycle industry and world for many, many years.
Yeah.
I got into two wheels back in early 2000 when I actually launched my own motorcycle magazine called Two Wheel Tuner.
Right.
And it was catering to the youth and urban sport bike market. And much to my surprise and my dad's surprise, who happened to loan me a little bit of money to do it, it took off and it was a really big success. And I did that for many years. Sold the magazine to Advanced Star Communications back in 2007 and continued to run the business for a couple years. And I just sort of needed a change. And the thing that attracted me about the world of bicycles is it just has much more scale. The barriers to entry for motorcycling for many, many people are pretty high.
Yeah.
For most part, they're kind of a scary deal. They can be kind of a frightening, mode of transportation to get on a motorcycle and go down the street with not the protection of a car around you.
I'm not going to tell you about my first motorcycle ride. It wasn't pretty.
Hear it.
No, it wasn't pretty. Really? But anyway, go on. Okay.
Anyway, the point being that bicycles are much more accessible to so many more people, and I love the concept of the scale.
Yeah.
The racing, obviously motorcycle racing has been a big part of my life for the last couple of years, but getting to understand the bicycle racing side of things, it's fascinating. It's incredible watching some of these races. Just watching some of the footage yesterday at the Giro d'Italia press release was incredible. So I'm long story short, I'm just really excited to be here. I think it's a great market and neat people, and in many ways, it's not too different from the motorcycle.
I agree.
There's a lot of similarities.
And we were talking before we started about my first international trade show in the bike business where it was bikes and motorcycles, and so they definitely do go together. There's definitely a family relationship there. What is your role at Interbike? What do you do?
Well, I start my day by having a martini. I'm kidding. I'm basically what I'm taking care of is I'm managing marketing from a variety of different perspectives. Probably the single biggest job I have is making sure that the bicycle retailers show up. So it's really important to be able to communicate to them what's happening in Interbike. Obviously, this year was a big year for us. Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of changes.
Yeah.
Move to the Mandalay Bay. Move to a brand new venue. There was a lot of anxiety in the community. How is this going to impact me? How is this going to impact my show experience? So, being able to communicate effectively to those individuals throughout the year to kind of let them understand, how the show's going to unfold, what it's going to be like, get them excited about the show.
Yeah.
So that's a big part about what I do, and then also helping build out various segments of the show, just to provide a little bit more of a dynamic experience, both for the exhibitors and the attendees. And probably one of the biggest reasons why I was hired, I think, was because I have a ton of consumer-facing experience, and I've done a lot of consumer-oriented events, and of course we were working on our very special Interbike by Invitation for tomorrow. Right. And so I had a lot to do with that. So I've been busy.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to some of the things you talked about. First of all, a new venue.
New venue.
I think so far people have, what I've heard, the reaction has been positive. And part of that, I think, was some of the things that you and your team did to familiarize people with the show floor and make them comfortable with a new layout. Tell everybody about some of those changes.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we undertook, we did our event guide a little bit differently this year. Typically we prepare our event guide, which is that big 100-page book that you got on your desk there, and we put it out we packaged it with bicycle retailer industry news quite early on. This year we didn't do that. What we did instead was we created a preview, and the purpose of the preview, which was this nice little 30-page piece, was to really help all of the attendees understand and exhibitors as well, of course, what the Mandalay Bay has to offer. Mm-hmm. So we covered everything from, hey, this is the floor plan. People go to a trade show for 18, 20, even 30 years, and they have their route. They know where they're going to get their coffee. They know where they can dump their bag. They know where they can park. All of a sudden, it's a brand new venue. Again, lots of anxiety. So what we did was we created a preview to really kind of alleviate some of that anxiety and kind of help them understand this is the floor plan. As much as it's a different floor plan, it's a bit of a tighter floor plan this year. So actually, you see a lot more in the space, and you don't have to travel quite as much. Helping them understand all the possibilities for food. You know, the old convention center, the Sands Convention Center, as I understand, served us very well. But you know, there were some complaints that, hey, you know, there's just not enough options.
Right.
Mandalay Bay has so many great dining options. From, you know, just a quick grab and go all the way up to some of the higher end, you know, hey, I'm going to take my client for a really great dinner. So that preview kind of encompassed all of that information and really just kind of helped familiarize everyone with the venue prior to actually getting on show site. And then we just communicated that again in a lot of emails and just trying to kind of educate people.
You did something interesting in there. Normally, as you walk in the aisles and rows of a trade show, it's, you know, 2,100 and 3,300, but you guys did something unique. It's all of a sudden I'm on 22nd Street.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that? It was a great idea.
So it was actually the show director, Pat Hood's
was it? Okay.
idea. Yeah. And it was built into his much bigger vision for this year's show, which was a message of community. If you attended the industry breakfast yesterday morning, you might have heard him talk a lot about community and, you know, how the bicycle industry is this incredible, vibrant, wonderful, close-knit community. And so that was our message this year. You saw in our advertisements, we had some really cool advertisements this year, in my opinion, that really focused on photography from actual bike shops right across the country. Just showing that a bike shop, a local bike shop, can really be just a hub for the community. You know, for kids, for moms, for dads, for enthusiasts. It's a great place to just kind of gather. And that was our larger message. You know, if you're not coming to Interbike, you're really missing an opportunity to be part of the community. So on that note, we wanted to take the show floor and we wanted to turn it into that community feeling.
That makes sense.
Putting in streets and, you know, we had some maybe bigger ideas that we couldn't quite realize, but at the end of the day, I think we did a pretty good job of trying to capture that right on the show floor.
For me, as I was walking around the show yesterday after we wrapped, the seeing the streets was very helpful to me to understand where I was, orient myself.
Right.
And then you've also got these signposts.
Yes.
You know, telling you that if you go this way, you're going to the paddock. Exactly.
That way to,
That was really helpful.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad to hear that.
It worked really well. As far as the community aspect, I say this every year. I probably say it on this show every year, and that is, to me, having come to Interbike for so many years, this is like a high school reunion. In a good way. These are people I do want to see.
Yeah.
And so I come here, and it's very much a community. I can't walk 5 feet without seeing somebody that I've known for 15 years.
Right.
And that just sort of bolsters the feeling of community. So that's really great. Another thing you mentioned is Interbike by invitation.
Correct.
Speaking of great ads, and I said this to Pat yesterday, that ad with the guy climbing up the hill and the awful weather, and then it shows the dealer's name on his back. It's a great ad because it really brings home what's true.
Yeah.
Dealers rely on consumers. Consumers rely on dealers.
Yes.
And the whole industry relies on both. And so Friday is sort of a unique first time we're bringing consumers in by invitation.
Yes.
How's that going?
So the by invitation part of this was really, really key.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't a situation where we said, let's just open the doors and just let anybody in. This was a very carefully managed, carefully thought out program whereby we wanted to give dealers the opportunity to reward their best customers. You know, some of these individuals are going into their bike shops and spending, you know, thousands and thousands
Tens of thousands in some cases,
dollars in some cases. And the whole point of Interbike by invitation was to say, look, we're not going to invite the consumers in. We're going to let the retailers bring in the consumers. So here's your invitations, and a certain number of invitations were given to each retailer. And basically what they could do is they could reach out to their best customers. They could say, hey, you know, as a thank you, I'm going to give you this coveted invitation to Interbike. So they show up, and it's not just about getting into Interbike, it's about a VIP experience.
Right.
So from the moment they arrive, we're giving them this VIP treatment. They're going to a special place to check in, which is VIP. They're getting a great gift bag. We worked with a lot of our terrific partners.
That's great.
Who provided us with some wonderful gifts and limited edition stuff to put in these bags to make these bags really valuable. This isn't just a bunch of inserts. This is actually stuff they're going to keep. Michael Valenti, who did the beautiful cover art for our event guide, we actually turned that into a poster. It's a limited edition poster.
I said that yesterday. This needs to be a poster. It's a
poster.
Great piece of art.
It's
That's
a
awesome.
poster. So all of our Interbike by invitation guests will get a poster in their bag. a limited edition Interbike by Invitation t-shirt.
Nice.
We worked with Sock Guy and got some Interbike by Invitation branded with that great bicycle badge logo that we came up with. That's on the socks. So they're going to be getting a great bag, and then they're going to come into the show and they're going to be able to have early access to the show, walk the show, and really enjoy it. And they can also come out tonight to see the USA Crits Finals and the concert that we're going to have in the paddock for Throwback Thursday. So again, it really was never about, hey, let's just bring in everybody. It was really an opportunity for retailers to reach out to their best customers, reward them, and give them a really terrific VIP experience.
Speaking of experiences, and again, I talked to Pat about this yesterday, but I want to go on a different tangent. We talked about the industry party.
Yes.
And George Thorogood and Cormali and House of Blues and all of that. But through your experience, you brought in sort of a non-endemic sponsor. You're beaming. This must have been a huge win for you.
It was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, tell everybody about that.
So we partnered with American Express this year, which was fantastic. I don't know if people have seen a lot of their advertising that they've been running, but Strictly Bicycles has actually been featured in a lot of their American Express Open advertisements. I think they've got a couple of radio ads running and some TV ads, and they're really great. They're really powerful pieces. So through that connection, we actually met the folks at American Express Open. And what's really neat is, and it happens a lot of times in these non-endemic deals, a lot of the people there are at American Express Open are tremendous enthusiasts. And they know Nelson because they shop at his store.
Oh, nice.
So that's how this whole thing sort of came to be. And they were a great partner. We worked with them. Again, it was a sort of a VIP opportunity. They had a great lounge space at the top of the House of Blues. And we invited, some really, really key bicycle retailers in to have that experience, to enjoy that experience. We had some complimentary food, wine. Everyone had a good time. They had a great place to watch the show.
Yeah.
But more than that, they've also got a great location on the show floor, and they're doing some really neat giveaways and promotions and so on. Plus, American Express, the actual card services, sponsored our paddock stage. So they've been involved with the show from many different touch points, just to again engage with the community and be a part of it.
So a lot of changes this year, a lot of positive new stuff.
Absolutely.
What about next year?
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, of course I am.
Asking about next year right now. Wow, I've got a big plan, but I can't share it. No, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. What we're looking to do for next year is we're going to look at how this year rolled out. We're going to look at many things, some of the more boring logistics, move in, move out, traffic flow, to the more exciting things, the party, the paddock, the racing, and we're going to understand, what happened, what was the experience. We're going to, most importantly, we're going to listen to our attendees. We always send out surveys following Interbike. You better complete yours.
I will.
And we ask a ton of questions, and it's a bit of an exhausting survey, but the great thing about it is it's attendees' opportunities to tell us everything they thought about it, right from the little nitty details right to the big picture stuff. And, a lot of these guys will, and women will fill it out and say, you're making me answer all these questions and you're never going to read this stuff. Well, one of the very first things I did when I joined Interbike was I picked up last year's survey and I read through not only all the results, but all the open-ended comments, of which there were over 1,000 open-ended comments where they can just kind of say what they feel. And that really helped me this year to craft a lot of what we craft and understand what some of the issues and the challenges were for our attendees. We're going to do that again. We're going to have to be fueled with a lot of coffee and some great energy products that I picked up on the show floor. Great sampling opportunity. And we're just really going to try and craft the show and elevate the show based on what we think we can do better and what our attendees tell us we can do better.
That's great. Well, again, welcome to Interbike. You're now a veteran.
I'm part of the community.
Exactly. You are part of the community. That's right.
Awesome.
And we're looking forward to good stuff next year. Great stuff this year. Looking forward to more next year.
Wonderful.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Great to meet you.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us this morning on Good Morning Interbike. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel. Stay subscribed. We'll have a lot more content for you right here from Interbike 2013 at Mandalay Bay.